missed the goal 1 minute and 5 seconds into the first. They are leading 1-0. 10 seconds after the opening faceoff by Glenn Anderson. Puck jammed back along. Greg can't handle, so it's Burridge connecting on with Casper and then to Larson. Big drive, he scores! And it is going to be called back on an offside. These fans don't know that it will not count.
Their elation is going to turn into misery very shortly. It's starting to sink in now. Terry O'Reilly saw it right away. Reed Larson, making his first appearance in the finals, has scored a lot of goals from right here, folks. He has got still one of the hardest shots in hockey, and he blasted that right by Grant Fuhr, but a teammate was offside. You saw him jumping to get out of the way. Swede Knox made an excellent call. He was right on the line.
Larson along for Casper, and Larson hammers down Courtnall. It is Wesley flipping one along, but it is chopped further by Marquardt, and Marquardt will sure take a piece of somebody, although he got mostly glass that time. It is Lacombe. Starts one for McTavish that is scooped up by Casper. Casper leaned on by McTavish. Lacombe comes in and jousts with him, and then Larson is shoved off by Courtnall and paws back at him. And away from this, Dennis Morrell will call the first penalties. They'll be coincidental minors.
Here's a closer look at the offside. Watch Reed Larson winding up. Right there, Nevin Marquardt just lifted his left foot up in the air. And that's, wow, what a shot. Mickey Redmond, you're at ice level. Was that a shot?
I'll tell you, Larson, Billy, can shoot the puck with the best of them. You know, he hits the ice about 1.5 feet behind the puck, and he has probably the heaviest shot in the National Hockey League. Goaltenders are afraid of it, without a doubt. But, you know, even though that goal does not count, you can bet the Bruins are saying, hey, guys, Grant Fuhr is a human being after all. He's not invincible. Let's shoot the puck at him, and especially up high like Larson did right there.
You know, that's a good point. And the Oilers, or at least the Bruins, really haven't done that a lot, especially when there was fog. Nobody has drifted many long shots at Grant Fuhr. Here's another one.
Bort's shot tipped out of play by Jeff Bukaboon. And has been the case in the earlier games. We've seen a little Bruins old-time hockey where they follow through, they make the guy pay the price. But in the previous games, it has simply elapsed after the first half of the first period. We'll see if it does tonight. Messier and Muni get the assist on Anderson's ninth, third of the finals at 10 seconds. But did it stun or slow the Bruins? No, it hasn't. Janney has Neely on his right and Joyce on the left. Dennis Morrell becoming impatient with an Edmonton shift change.
Right, he wants, you know what Sather is trying to do. He is trying to get Messier out there against Craig Janney. But in this instance, he's not able to get Messier's whole line out there. Dennis Morrell said, we'll let you on. So that accomplishes half of what Sather wants, and that is to let Messier take the faceoffs deep, or at least anywhere in the Oilers zone.
Didn't look as though Fuhr could see that one very well. Here is Curry trying to work one that is chopped away by Peterson. Curry in front of Gretzky. Oh, what a save made by Andy Moe. Back up now with it is Neely. Neely, big blast, and that one went wide. Grant Fuhr does not look that quick back there. It is Bort tipping one back off. Chopped at by Janney, but now a delayed offside is being whistled down. 2:40 gone in the first period. 1-0 Edmonton.
Every day, Jack Taylor and Joe Donovan take the same road home. But today, they went a little out of their way.
Give you a hand.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
This Bud's
For all the guys who go out of their way.
This Bud's for you.
No changes at all in the Edmonton lineup, and beside Moog, we have mentioned Larson. Also in tonight, Marquardt, and a rookie by the name of Greg Hawgood, who is playing his first Stanley Cup Final Game. Hawgood from Kamloops, actually a native of Edmonton, but played for Kamloops, British Columbia in the Western League and was the Junior Defenseman of the Year. Scratches from Game 3 are McCarthy, Telvin, and Miller. Hawgood out for his first ever shift right now. He's number 40, and the puck comes to him. Dumps it back off, but it is Kevin Lowe. That one flipped near Hawgood. Krushelnyski freed it, but Sweeney starts it ahead from Middleton, can't penetrate. Acton working it back along to Krushelnyski. Rolls, but Gord Kluzak preoccupied, or rather Hoggood preoccupied with Krushelnyski. Kluzak fires, and it is driven back around though by Lowe. Puck poked along by Krushelnyski, checked by O'Dwyer. Moog allows it to trickle through. Kluzak over along with Acton and rams into him. O'Dwyer rolls it by Hoggood, so Sweeney has to drop back. Took a shove from Krushelnyski, but got the puck. Missed for Kluzak. Along it comes to Middleton. Then Sweeney has O'Dwyer on the left, but can't get it on the right to Hoggood. Krushelnyski drops it back, but Hoggood will take for Boston.
Boy, you can see that Hoggood already is trying to provide some of the offense that the Bruins haven't had. He is a prolific scorer, has great legs, can really motor out there. He is going to be up on the play all night. And as well, Terry O'Reilly had to dress six defensemen.
Messier leaned on enough by Larson that he couldn't get a shot away. And it is LeMay having Linseman ahead and gives to him. Linseman trying to get through. Diving play made by Gregg, who closed ranks with Smith. Back on now, Glenn Anderson has Messier on the wing. Drops it to Anderson. Shot trickled in front. And winds up being trapped by Andy Moog. 15:52 to go in the first. 1-0, the defending champs.
While some still believe you can't take it with you, those who've driven the new Mitsubishi wagon know just the opposite to be true. Now not only can you take it with you, but you can do so with a remarkable combination of style, spacious comfort, and versatility. The new Mitsubishi wagon, patiently crafted so you can take it all with you. Or better yet, so you can leave it all behind. Mitsubishi. Suddenly, the obvious choice.
Oh, the Messier line seems to have their legs tonight. Here's the pass back out to Glenn Anderson. There's a bit of a crowd in front. Too big a crowd. Crowder drags down Simpson. You can see the shot never got through.
Gregg's pass came to Peterson of Boston. Off the skates of Dennis Morel, and Bort sends it all the way down. Center line and end line touched by the defending team, and icing will bring it back near Andy Moog. Well, Keith Acton was the man who broke the tie in Game 1 and won it 2-1. Wayne Gretzky had the key goal in Game 2, and Esa Tikkanen with a hat trick in the third game. All three Edmonton victories. Let's go down to Mickey Redmond.
Thank you, Mike. You know, the last rush Bill was just talking about with Messier and Anderson, there was a look of fear in Larson's eyes, and he did a heck of a job to key off Messier into the corner just with the strength of the stick alone. But that's how the Oilers beat you. Those two just transition game, and they get enough of them, they will beat you sooner or later.
Mickey Redmond is stationed behind the glass where that last face-off took place. And now it's down at the end to your right as you watch, and well away from Mickey's end. Puck work back now to Casper. Casper on over to Peterson. His shot, tip, rebound just away from Casper as getting the deflection was Burridge. Back on with it, Yari Curry feeds on over to Gretzky. Looks for Curry. Kneeling play made by Peterson. Still they work for it, and Ray Borg able to step away. Will he be more involved in the play tonight? Pass went beyond Marquardt, who just didn't know that it was coming. And getting there first for the icing and taking the thump was Jeff Bukaboom. And now Marquardt drawing a glance from Tikkanen.
You know, I would have to think that Marquardt might be a key. They have to look for someone tonight. He is small, but he is tenacious. He loves to hit. He plays way bigger than his size, and he is a forechecking demon. So is this guy, Randy Burridge, number 12. Here's the last save that Fuhr made. See, Burridge was in front to deflect. Fuhr kicked it right out past the Bruin that was in the slot. Another look at it. See the Bruin frozen, looking right at us? Went right by him. That was Steve Casper. You know, I mentioned that Terry O'Reilly really didn't have a choice dressing six defensemen. There's Marquardt forechecking. See what I mean about him going all out. With Michael Telvin being out of the lineup, remember the other night he collided with McSorley? What is Terry O'Reilly going to do? If he puts Reed Larson in that hasn't played in a while, or puts Hoggood in, he can't really rely on either one of those guys because they might not be in game shape, especially Hoggood. He's a rookie. He almost had to dress six tonight because of the Telvin injury.
Now Bill O'Dwyer, center ice, big drive is deflected away by Grant Fuhr. It is Sweeney taking over. Then along to O'Dwyer. Wrapped up by McSorley. That'll cost two. The Bruin power play has had its problems. It scored once last game. It gets the first try tonight.
Now the final chapter, students, in Bosworth's book of etiquette. Personal
hygiene. How will you separate yourselves from those barbaric hordes that exude a most malodorous air? New Ride Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Maximum protection and a fresh new scent. A veritable olfactory medley. New Ride Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized. Raise your glasses, gentlemen, to civilization.
Boy, when you get that lateral movement coming across the blue line, really tough to defend against. You saw 3 Oilers right there around Billy O'Dwyer. See where McSorley's stick is? Right between O'Dwyer's legs. That's a play that a defenseman tries to make. When the guy has a step on you and is going laterally, sometimes it backfires on you because the guy gets locked up in your stick. Referee has absolutely no choice, as Denny Morrell didn't have that time. He had to call it.
In this series, it's interesting to note what you call thundering fouls, at least that's what I call them, aggressive fouls. The Bruins have far outdone the Oilers in that department, 18-6, but the Oilers have 2 more of the restraining fouls, one of which we've just seen in the trip to McSorley. It is Kevin Lowe for the shorthanded Oilers. Gave it up. Joyce a shot. Sprawling play. Rebound went wide as Joyce and Janney nearly able to connect. The puck sent out of play.
You know, the Oilers were in complete control, but when the Bruins swarm in with their tenacious forechecking and to force a turnover, look at that. Craig Janney was moving in right there on Kevin Lowe, and that is not a typical Kevin Lowe play. But the Bruins were all in good positions to forecheck. The easiest play for Lowe was going around the boards, but he decided to jack it right up the center. Isn't that been the story of the Bruins? Okay, the Oilers have outplayed the Bruins in just about every game and in just about every instance, but when the Bruins have had chances like this, they have slipped right through their fingers, through their feet, and right by the net.
You often wonder how much of that is luck and how much is just being very tight, inexperienced perhaps, as here's Bork flipping over to Crowder, hands it over to Glenn Wesley, pass given up, and here come the Oilers. They can move out in the 3-on-2. Lynchman scurrying to make it a 3-on-3, though, and gets back and does just that. Play breaks down. Messier loses. On with it now comes Crowder. Crowder stepping in with Bork along with Sweeney. Passes for Sweeney, but off his stick. Chased down by Gretzky. Puck worked on to Crowder. Muscled along by Lowe, but Crowder, with the help of Sweeney, able to pivot away and hand to Bork. Here's Bork with a shot. Save. Rebound. Lynchman. Another save made by Fuhr as he had the short side closed off. Off of Ray Bork, who kept it from going the length. It's across to Wesley for Sweeney, but we have a shift change now in the power play for the Bruins. 13:20 to go, first period, 1-0 Edmonton. 50 seconds to go on the Bruin power play. Ray Bork back to get it. Kluzak is the other point man. They have Neely, Janney, and Joyce up front. Neely pulls up at the line. Janney unable to control, and it's Wayne Gretzky just pivoting and laying it back down. Reed Larson goes back. Key man on Detroit's power play for so many seasons, and he's been a valuable asset to the Bruins, though he hasn't played in this series until tonight. Puck skipped back down by Kluzak, and so it is Larson to play. Rolls it back off for Kluzak with 15 seconds to go on the man advantage. Neely got away from Lacombe, but not from McTavish. Feeds over to Lacombe. Without his stick is Larson as Lacombe's shot was saved by Moe. McTavish tripped up and Neely able to tap it through. Larson able to pat one along. That'll be taken by Janney, but penalty time is up to McSorley. Teams at full strength. Janney flips one that comes on goal and is sent away by Fuhr. The flip comes over to Mark Messier. Messier moves along with Simpson. Play went through Peterson, locks up with Simpson. Along with it is Burridge. Taps one further that Janney tried to bank out, and Boom went charging into him. Back with it, Marquardt drops over to Bork, took a high stick, still works in front, and that one knocked down by Messier. There'll be a penalty coming up, and the Bruins will again have the power play. 11:59 to go in the first. Anderson's goal, the only one.
Mitsubishi knows you want a truck to be tough. But we also know you want more for your money. Mitsubishi Mighty Max trucks give you more. Up to 2.6 liters of power, a 5-speed stick, more standard features for less than Toyota, Nissan, or Mazda. Even the lowest priced macro cab. The new Mitsubishi Mighty Max trucks. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice.
Mark Messier is off for tripping. You have to say that at a certain point the Bruins are going to have to score on one of these power plays. There was a save by Fuhrer through a crowd. Ken Linsman picks up the rebound point blank. You see him going for the 5-hole. He was a little high, wasn't he? About 6 inches. The penalty is to Mark Messier coming back. I think it's just on the right of your screen. There was Messier, right, tripping one of the Bruins who was trying to break away at mid-ice. And after that, you know what, Anderson laid a real slash on somebody cutting for the net. I originally thought that that's what Dennis Morel had called, but no, it was to Messier.
Bruins bring in 4 across. You can see them there. Wesley Crowder, Linsman, the face-off man, and Sweeney. And it is worked back to the other one. Bork drive, flop to the glass after ducking off of Krushelnyski. Muni tries a weak clearing attempt, and Wesley just puts it back on goal. Bruins have outshot the Oilers so far 7-4, trail in the game 1-0. Muni, and that one went by Wesley, so the Bruins must go all the way. Gretzky and Curry up front, Muni and Lowe in back for the penalty-killing Edmonton Oilers.
This was the last power play by the Bruins. You see they had 3 shots. They were in the zone 38 seconds.
On with it, Crowder. Centers, but that off low, and here comes Gretzky moving out with Curry. Little pass ahead, off the skate of Bork, retrieved by Curry. Bork after to wedge him to the boards, and Ken Linsman, the extra man for the Bruins, will bring it back. 1:10 to go on the power play. Linsman dishes it blindly as the Bruins were in the midst of changing, and now it's Neely giving over to Sweeney. Sweeney to the front, and he just stick-handled too much and had it forced away by Steve Smith. It is at the same end of the ice, the end that you are watching now, that we're starting to see just a little bit of fog. Janney's pass comes across to Larson. Feeds on the wing to Janney. Tries for Neely. Poked back along Kluzak. It is fed to Larson. Drive deflected wide, and Fuhrer was knocked down by a crunch of players. Joyce and Smith colliding in front. Falling down is Janney, and right there to press him is Gregg. Joyce pivoting. Dumps it back off for Janney. He eludes the check of Gregg. And feeds to Larson. His shot went to the glass. Flicked off by Fuhrer. Gregg presses Joyce. And the puck wedged up along the rail, and now an exchange behind the goal.
There's Bob Joyce. When are we going to hear from Bob Joyce? And for that matter, the Janney line. Gee, the Bruins rode the crest of this rookie line. Neely's not a rookie, but Joyce and Janney are. And I think for a couple of reasons we haven't heard that much from Bob Joyce in the finals. Number one, the Oilers have done a good job of neutralizing Craig Janney. You neutralize the centerman, you end up with a donut line, no center. And that's what Bob Joyce has been facing. Besides that, the Janney line really doesn't like to dump it in that much. So if Janney is not wheeling and dealing, Joyce doesn't get a chance to really do a lot of his strong board work and forechecking work. Those are his strengths.
Mickey Redmond, your observations.
Well, I'll tell you, the Bruins seem to be playing a lot more relaxed than we've seen them in the first 3 games. I'm sure Billy and Mike, they've just said, hey, we're down 3-0. We have nothing to lose. Let's go out, relax, have some fun, and try to win this hockey game and not be embarrassed by losing 4-0.
You know, I agree with you, Mickey, except there was one time just a second ago when Bob Sweeney moved into the slot. I think the rookies are feeling the pressure. A guy like Bob Sweeney missed a 3-on-2 the other night. Remember, he didn't even get a shot on goal.
That's right.
Sweeney moved into the slot there on a 2-on-1. Really couldn't make up his mind what to do. This is pressure central for rookies now. This is the finals, and the Bruins have 4 rookies on their team.
It is a pass from Bork across to Neely. 5 seconds left on the Bruin power play. Feeds it back over to Joyce. Drops it back to Ray Bork. Wrapped around to Neely. Given a good shoulder by Muni. Lowe had it forced away by Joyce. Still the pressure on. Penalty time is up. With it is Janney. Centered one, but that off Muni. Rebound in front. Neely couldn't connect with Joyce. Joyce shoved to the boards by Lowe. Still trying to fight his way along, and it's tapped off his stick by Curry to Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky moving with Messier. Puck flung into Bork and chopped back. 39 seconds of attack zone possession. Very close to what they had the first time, but this time instead of 3 shots, just 1. Gretzky turns it back across for McSorley. Little pass went off the paddle of Messier. Anderson tries to recover, but it's O'Dwyer jamming back in. 9:20 to go, first period of play. Along with Tom Mees, Mickey Redmond, Bill Clement, Mike Emmerich from Boston Garden, where the Oilers are leading in this game by a count of 1-0. Oh, was Kluzak ever hit by the forechecking of Simpson? Simpson and Kluzak back to pay him back, but didn't get much of him there, and Allgood tries to clear. Anderson flips. Kluzak had trouble controlling. Simpson goes down as the puck is cleared back along. Sorley going back to get it. There'll be no icing here. And drops it right for Rick Middleton. Flips one in front off Acton, and he, with second reflex action, was able to force it himself wide of his own goal. Middleton and Acton battling along the boards again. Boom has a man lean down. And that's enough of congestion to see the puck go out of the sight of Dennis Morrell, though not necessarily out of ours. 8:33 to go. First period of play, 1-0 the Oilers.
Hi there. You looking for Mr. Right?
Give this guy a light. And Bud Light here.
Ask for Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else is just a light.
Thanks. Keep the chains.
No big deal. Tune-ups?
It's MasterCare car service.
Great tune-ups with a computer that talks to your car.
Finally, taking care of your car is no big deal. MasterCare Car Service by Firestone.
I thought they just sold tires.
It looked as if Craig Simpson got his arms up right here into Kluzak's face. Look at the helmet off of Kluzak. You tell me if Simpson got his arms up and deserved the penalty on this one. Well, elbows met elbows, didn't they? And after that, they collided. Gord Kluzak showed good restraint. Watch Kluzak. He never did get the strap down. He was stuck with it for about 10 seconds right across the bridge of his nose. But Kluzak showed good restraint. He went back at Simpson after that and kept his arms down.
Casper has Burridge on his left, Marquardt on his right. You talked about a donut line. Do you ever play on a helicopter line, Bill, as a centerman with no wings?
Kind of like a penguin line, we used to call it, or a helicopter line.
Reed Larson is the slot man. Go ahead.
I used to think that was the problem my whole career. I couldn't get anybody to believe it, though.
Acton wedged off by Larson, and to take it is Wesley with 8:25 to go in the first period. The teams are at full strength right now. That was a double banger off two of the officials. Flipped right back in on Andy Moog and steered over to Wesley. Forechecking his Acton as the puck swirled around, and it got another official this time. Puck brought right back on by Casper. Has Marquardt breaking. Just cannot outfight Krushelnyski for the puck. Wesley drops one along, but over two lines to Burridge, and for that reason a halt to play. And again, it's at the end of the ice to our left that we're noticing a little more fog than to the right. Maybe they don't have enough doors open at that end. This arena is 60 years old. Of course, air conditioning hadn't been invented then. It has since, but it has not been installed here. 8 minutes left in the first. There, you can really see it better at ice level.
See John Muckler motioning to, I thought he was talking to Sather at first. Looks now as if he's talking to somebody down at the end of the bench. He gets so much praise from the guys that play for him, people that have ever played for him. John Muckler, the man that is really credited with designing the X's and O's plays, defensively, offensively, tactically. A lot of people think there's no one better in the game than John Muckler.
McTavish able to regain the faceoff and again force Andy Moog to swirl behind his net. It is Bork with a pass that's off the tip of the stick of Joyce. The Joyce, Janney, and Neely line has seen a lot of action tonight, partly because there have been two Bruins power plays. Outlet, one-handed tap comes on to Lacombe up the wing. Courtnall, the drive went just wide.
Wow, that dropped at least 6 inches. It was up in the air, then went right down. Had it been on net, that would have handcuffed Andy Moog.
Ray Bork pestered by former teammate Jeff Courtnall. Now Peterson having trouble, and here's McTavish. Big drive blocked away by Moog. McTavish moving in. Leaned on by Neely. Back it comes. Muni waiting, then fires into the knees of Joyce. Courtnall swings one that Neely takes. Rams into McTavish as he was following through on that pass, and McTavish sat down. The fans love that. On now comes Neely. But we get a stoppage of play on a two-line pass. Well, history should record that we have seen longer than 7 or 8 minutes of Bruins hockey in this game so far. They've been putting the body on pretty well, and they've been attacking well.
Sure have. Neely gets rid of the puck, and there's one of the problems when you come up against Cam Neely. He braced himself, and even though he wasn't trying to hit that time, he was mostly trying to protect. Here's Craig McTavish's shot. Gets it up high on Andy Moog. No screen. No, Ray Bork moved out of the way so Moog could see it. But when Neely hits, he tries to hit through people. That's one of the reasons that he is so effective. He's not only big, strong, and solid, but he's almost like a football hitter. He hits right through you. Just before Neely hit, Ray Bork was tied up with Courtnall, one of his ex-teammates on this Oilers team. There's the hit right there. But 2 seconds after that crunch by Bork that Neely met with McTavish behind the net.
Some of you may not be able to appreciate it from a hockey standpoint, but if you ever played basketball and your coach made you do stops and starts, there you had an example of Ray Bork starting, stopping, and then leveling a hit, and then stopping, and then starting again. This is Kluzak. Shakes away from the checking of Gretzky, although Gretzky's still a factor. And it is rolled in deep by Kluzak. Delayed offside is wiped as the Bruins clear the zone. Meanwhile, you're watching Esa Tikkanen, who had a hat trick in the last game. Only the 25th player in Stanley Cup history to get a hat trick in the final. Tikkanen wraps it along to Gregg. Randy Gregg with a look toward Gretzky. The pass, though, is tipped away by Crowder and gathered in by Greg Hawgood. Then to Linseman, but brushed from him by Curry. 6.5 minutes to go in this opening period of play. Glenn Anderson's goal at 10 seconds, the only one so far, as we have a tie-up of Yari Curry and Andy Moog, seemingly without harm at the Boston goal. In the sauna above the train station, we have a 1-0 game, Edmonton leading.
Mitsubishi knows you want a truck to be tough. But we also know you want more for your money. Mitsubishi Mighty Max trucks give you more. Up to 2.6 liters of power, a 5-speed stick, more standard features for less than Toyota, Nissan, or Mazda. Even the lowest priced macro cab. The new Mitsubishi Mighty Max trucks. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice.
Yari Curry is on the chase here. Kenny Linseman is trying to get away from him, and you saw Curry come all the way back, tip the puck out of the way. Actually, Linseman was coming back into his own end, but he got real tangled up right in front of Mickey Redmond. Mickey?
You know, guys, they talked in the papers today about the Bruins going out of their way to hit. You saw the reaction when Neely hit. This crowd went crazy. They love it, but the reporters in Boston are accusing the Bruins. They're going out of their way to try to be physical because they don't really need to be. Everybody knows they're a tough physical team, but it's hurting them to have to prove it all the time.
Larson with a drive, blocked away by Fuhr. Sweeney shoulders with Smith and goes right back at him. It is Gregg floating one along for Curry. On second effort, was able to get it by Wesley. Larson going back. It's over the end line, and it is touched by him first. So back near Fuhr, it'll come on that icing call. We mentioned the temperature at warm-up time tonight was 78. It has risen to 81 after only about 40 minutes of time has passed on the wristwatch. And now we notice a little fog at the Edmonton defensive end, too, as you see Reed Larson.
You know, I wonder how some of the writers in this city would have approached the Edmonton Oilers if they're saying that the Bruins really don't need to go out of their way to hit the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of tactics have been attempted. None have seemed to work. Part of the Bruins game is hitting. I'm not sure why anybody would say for the Bruins, or at least suggest that the Bruins take hitting out of their game. They thrive on it year after year. They have to hit to win.
O'Dwyer and Messier for the faceoff with 6:01 left in this opening period. In case you're just joining us, the Oilers lead 1-0. Shot went into McSorley. Tipped by Anderson along to Craig Simpson. Simpson watched by Peterson. Nice play on defense by Alan Peterson. Simpson trying to fight his way through. Centering pass was off Anderson. O'Dwyer locked up with Messier. There'll be a penalty coming up. It'll be against Boston. Delayed call. Anderson flips, and it's collared by Bork, and we'll get the halt to the action. Edmonton's power play gets a chance to heat up with the Oilers in the lead.
Listen to the good times, great taste. Listen to a Salad special day. Have the salad lace. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. Listen to it.
Coming soon. Buy any McDonald's salad and take home a free premium. Will it be a motorhome, a yacht, or Kraft dressing? Yeah. Find out May 27th.
Alan Peterson, who had made the initial strong play on Craig Simpson, is called for holding. 14:22, the time of the period. And the Oilers have out some of the best guys at doing this in the world right now. Yari Curry left point. You saw Gretzky and Messier close up. Glenn Henderson on the left, and on the right point it'll be Steve Smith as we review this penalty. Simpson being held to the boards by Peterson there, and it was when Simpson tried to fight away that he went down.
You see, you might have noticed that Peterson actually had Simpson's stick in his grasp. I think that's one of the reasons that Simpson couldn't get his shoulder around, lost his balance, but it doesn't really matter. Peterson has to wait a very, very long 2 minutes. Hopefully at 2 minutes, because if it isn't, that will mean the Oilers have scored.
Messier from the face-off got it surprisingly to Gretzky. How did it get through that kind of traffic? Gretzky flips in front, and it went across the goal mouth, and there'll be a penalty coming up. Dennis Morrell will take off a Bruin. And the fans are steamed on this one.
It's the guy the Bruins can't do without, too. Ray Bourque, he tripped Glenn Anderson. Anderson was moving in front to take a quick pass. He'll take it right from the faceoff. Casper trying to get the puck back. There is Bourque on Anderson. Now watch, they will move towards the net. Wow, what a battle even before Anderson tries to go to the net.
Oh, it's a rough.
Those are the penalties that people get away with during the regular season. Those are the penalties that hockey players have not gotten away with since the officials decided they were going to call it differently in the playoffs. And we've seen it hurt too many teams, haven't we? The two men off at one time, too often in the playoffs.
And it has hurt the Bruins terribly in this series. You see how well the Oilers have done on these situations. Against Boston in this series, they are 2 for 3. And they've got a long one here. It was only 8 seconds after the first penalty that the second was called.
Well, Kluzak is out there, and so is Reed Larson. They just had a little powwow with Steve Casper, so we'll see what kind of setup they use. It's going to have to be a excellent setup with a lot of hoping. Mickey Redmond?
Five forwards that Glenn Sather is going with. He's going for the kill right here. What the fans and the Bruins are so upset about, they had 2 5-on-3s against them out in Edmonton in the first 2 games, both together in the same game, and they're very upset that those penalties are being called by the officials when they're not really blatant.
Curry works on to Tikkanen. That one bounced and paddled away by Moog. Cleared by Kluzak, but kept by Gretzky. Gretzky shovels over. One-timer by Curry. Oh, that was a tough one for Moog, and he was able to block it away. Flipped along for Messier. Leaned on by Larson. Turns it to Anderson, then back to Curry. Messier right to the front of the goal. Now it's handed to Gretzky. Curry once more to Gretzky. Curry. Save! Tried to go through the 6-hole, and that has never worked. Right through that crest.
That's probably the worst place he could have shot it. Andy Moog was able to smother it right in his chest, and Glenn Anderson was standing right to Andy Moog's right for the rebound. You can tell the Oilers aren't trying to get 2 goals here. All they want is 1. They're taking their time. That's the first knuckler that gave Andy Moog a bit of trouble. And then it came back to Jari Kurri again. That was the one that Moog was able to smother. You can see Anderson on the right, Kluzak on the left. And you know, from that spot where Jari Kurri shoots, Mike, they really don't want a screen in front of him. Kurri, if he hits the open spot with his gun, can score for there. So what Anderson was doing, I think, was correct. Staying off the net a little bit for a rebound, because if Anderson stands in front of Moog, his life is in danger. Kurri can really let her rip.
This time he passes over to Gretzky. Then Curry fires. Stick save, Moog. Rebound chop. Sent away by Lynchman, but not out. Gretzky can hold. Deals it this time to Tikkanen. Quickly back to Gretzky again. Tikkanen hammers one. Score! First man out of the box. And still 58 seconds of a 5-on-4.
Well, the Bruins decided to play a passive triangle. They didn't force the Oilers at all, and when you're playing against the Oilers, and as Mickey mentioned, they used 5 forwards. 5 of the best in the game. You have to play kind of a contained box. Hope that Andy Moog was able to stop them completely. He got that one. Messier missed it. But the Oilers maintained possession. Comes back to Gretzky. See, when Linsman went right out to him, it opened it up. Tikkanen to Gretzky. And now back to Tikkanen. And do they love those one-time shots? Tikkanen from that side and Jari Kurri from the other side. You just have to pray a lot when you end up 2 men down against the Oilers, and that has been the problem the Bruins have had. They haven't been able to survive them in this series.
Tikkanen with 4 goals in his last 5 shots over the games here at Boston Garden. Still some time in which to work for the Oilers. 45 seconds to go. They're up 2-0. Gretzky. Big drive. Knocked down by Moog. Larson able to clear, but it's kept moving, and the Oilers have it alive with Gretzky. We really notice the fog now. Curry, then to Gretzky. Hands back to Smith. Fires one. Deflected. Oh, and he got a piece of that, and it was fed away by Larson. Poke back around to Gretzky. Tries to finesse one, but it came to Casper, who can lift it back.
What a save Moog made on Messier on that deflection. He was down with his leg, perfectly placed, hit him right near the toe.
Jari Kurri ahead with 8 seconds to go, forced back by O'Dwyer. Here is Kurri moving on Kluzak. Shovels it to Acton, poked away by Middleton. Acton tried to fight one in front, but it is Kluzak headmanning on up to O'Dwyer. Has Middleton and Sweeney with him. The give is to Sweeney. Hurried one to the front, turned away by McClellan. O'Dwyer gives it up to low, hammered by Sweeney. Puck comes back to Kluzak. Kluzak chops one off McClellan. Sweeney trying to center, off Middleton and Kurri. Weakly cleared, so it is sent for Hawgood, who fires. He scores! About timing for your first one. 2-1 in favor of Edmonton.
Huge goal. Exactly what the Bruins needed. And I'll tell you where the Oilers got into trouble. The Bruins got back to full strength, and the Oilers got caught out there with Jari Kurri on defense. 4 forwards and 1 defenseman. They got mixed up in their signals, and that allowed Hawgood to walk right into the slot. And did he blast it up high? This kid must learn quick. They probably said when you get in tight. You see him take a look there, though, before he shot? Beautiful shot. But the problem was that the Edmonton Oilers ended up out there 1 defenseman short, and they really didn't know how to react. They were terribly out of position because of it.
Tikkanen's goal, by the way, came on only 1 assist, that by Wayne Gretzky. Rick Middleton on that rather lame clear by the Oilers was able to set it up, and Bob Sweeney also had an assist. Mickey Redmond, how do you see all this developing?
I'll tell you, I can't see the puck at the other end of the ice because the Bruins hadn't been down in the Oilers' zone for about 3-4 minutes. But I'll tell you, this kid Hawgood, what a shot he does have. 123 points last year in Cam Lucic Jr. He is from Edmonton, Alberta.
Courtnall tries to step ahead, and it is Bourque laying it back. Courtnall checks with Bourque. Ahead with it is Joyce. Big drive. Grabbed by Pure, and he'll hang on.
Live from Las Vegas, Knockout Night, featuring Thomas Hearns against Iran Barkley for the WBC Middleweight Championship. Knockout Night, a pay-per-view event Monday, June 6th. Call your cable operator and order today.
All right, Ken Lintzman will step in for a face-off with Messier here at steamy Boston Garden. 2:32 left in the first. The Oilers scored the first 2, Anderson and Tikkanen. And Greg Hawgood has answered with his first Stanley Cup goal for the Boston Bruins. Steve Smith flips one along, off Simpson, tipped by Bourque. Crowder couldn't make a play further because of Randy Gregg. Kluzak lifts, and Gregg will go back to take it unmolested. Bruins had to clear the zone, and now Lintzman moving in as a forechecker. Lintzman, LeMay, and Keith Crowder. The line out now for Boston. Messier flips, and Ray Bourque will stride back. Anderson right on him. Puck turned along, and man, was Crowder hit by Simpson, who has had 2 of the thundering hits of the night. And now some jostling between Messier and Kluzak. Bourque and Anderson eye to eye.
Check the fog. It's getting deeper and deeper. There's a mist that's about head height now all the way around. Try and look at the other end of the ice through the crowd. Well, Glenn Anderson and Ray Bourque have had it going ever since we ISO'd on them. Just before Ray Bourque took that second penalty that put them down 2 men. So they have been at it all night. There's Simpson just cruising into the corner and making great contact. Messier goes in as a second man, forechecking, trying to dig the puck out. Here comes Gord Kluzak. Ta-da! Boom.
Just have to pretend if you're a goaltender right now what it must be like. Now, this angle here doesn't give you the full impact of how foggy it is. It's down at ice level that you can really tell. But that didn't bother Moog on this one. That becomes the 13th Edmonton Oilers shot of the game. The Bruins have 10. 2-1 the score in favor of Edmonton. Gregg, checked by Burridge. In comes Marquardt, shoves them both. Jammed along by Messier, and getting it is Steve Smith. Burridge right after him. Smith puts one right out in front, and you can see the Oilers starting to react to the Bruin forechecking, trying to get rid of it quickly and failing in doing so. Let's go to Tom Mees.
All right, Mike Emmerich, reminder to stay with us between the first and second periods. We'll have lots for you, including an interview with Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who picked up some more postseason hardware yesterday at the NHL Awards banquet. We'll also be taking a look at the top candidates for the NHL's Calder Trophy for the Rookie of the Year. We'll have highlights of the first period of play, and also Bill Clement will take us through another hockey lesson with the telestrator. That's coming up in our first intermission. Now let's go back to Mike and Bill. 2-1 Edmonton.
Temperature here, 81 degrees. We just looked down and noticed Mickey Redmond was fanning himself. Most of the fans here have gotten down to just T-shirts or dress shirts, blouses. It is very hot inside. Last temperature check that we have right in front of us here, 81 degrees. It was 78 at the start of this period. Krushelnyski and O'Dwyer in front of Grant Fuhr for the draw. Middleton worked on by Gregg. Puck flipped off Wesley, overskated by Curry. Larson missed for O'Dwyer, got Gregg, who missed for Curry. This will be icing as Wesley is back. Jari Kurri has, at least in my mind, established himself so much as a two-way player this year. Now, maybe he hasn't changed a thing, Bill. Maybe I'm just paying more attention to him.
Probably because he failed to score 50 goals for the first time in 5 years. And a lot of people in Edmonton said, boy, Jari Kurri really had an off year. 43. And perhaps that's why some people are starting to focus a little more on his defensive play. But you got to ask the guys that play against him. They will tell you that while he doesn't always play a physical game, he realizes he has to make contact and just try and get a step on him when you're heading up ice. See how fast he back checks.
Terry O'Reilly watches this face-off. Puck back to Wesley, but into Muni. Help came from Curry to spin it along to Gretzky. That one off Larson, gloved along by Wesley. Carried further now by Joyce. Janney is the trailer, and Joyce just boomed to the wall by Muni, but still keeps it to Janney, who loses. Muni forces Wesley to turn, moving back with Reed Larson on defense.
You could see how effective Joyce was if they're able to penetrate the zone. He got by Muni. He took the hit. That's the territory that the Oilers have owned in this series. Their own end, along the boards and in the corners. The Bruins have never established themselves there.
Neely taken down by Tikkanen, and there'll be a penalty coming up with only 35 seconds left in the period to Esa Tikkanen. He's been a feisty performer, and it's cost him. He's had a lot of minors in this series at crucial times. This will be the 6th minor that he's been called for. He had 3 of them in one night, plus one he served on the bench minor.
You know, only Steve Smith and Marty McSorley. There it is. A little bit of a leg lock around Cam Neely. Mickey Redmond?
You know what, Billy? Actually, it was an offensive hit to start out by Cam Neely. He drilled Tikkanen. Morrell did not see that. Tikkanen was down and, of course, wrapped his legs around Neely, and he tried to charge for the corner. He got caught for retaliation, but Cam Neely does what he does so well, and that's deliver that offensive hit.
Mickey, you're right there where the goaltender is. Can you see that puck coming in there on shots very well?
It was foggy just a moment ago. The fog is changing positions with, of course, the territorial play. 10 big guys out there. They bring the fog with them to either end, and then they'll clear it at another end, and back will go the other way.
Interesting. Here comes Messier for the shorthanded Oilers. Messier deals it over for Krushelnyski. Flips one against the back of the goal. 20 seconds to play in the first period. Bruins trailing by 1. Kluzak on. Angles for the Lynchman corner. He moved in first, but it was Grant Fuhr just grabbing it.
Well, the Oilers have done an outstanding job of containing number 77, Raymond Bourque, the man that led this Boston Bruin team in scoring during the regular season. He finished 2nd in the National Hockey League in shots on goal with an average of 4.4 first 3 rounds, he dropped a little, and you have to think fatigue. Look at this, 1.7 shots. Only 3 players in the NHL finished with over 300 shots. Mario Lemieux had 382, Bork had 344, and Mike Gardner of the Washington Capitals had 318. If he doesn't get up on the play, he doesn't get his shots. At the end of games, he has been dead. Tonight, I look to Ray Bork to have some legs at the end. Terry O'Reilly is finally working in 6 defensemen tonight. Hoggood and Larson have both played.
Neely. Oh, and that one blocked away. Grant Fuhr with a big reaction there, and just 7 seconds left. Bork fires one. Blocked down by Fuhr. Stoppage of play, and Dennis Morel signals a face-off. And I'm not certain if he lost sight of that, thinking that maybe Fuhr had it or what.
Boy, Fuhr was so far out of the net, he has to look peripherally to see who's around him, because that time he was out further than he usually is. There's got to be a good 6 feet between Grant Fuhr and that goal line, or at least the crease line, the round crease line behind him. A little bit of fog. Andy Moog is on the bench. That's something that's interesting. 4 seconds is enough time to get possession and score a goal down at the end. Terry O'Reilly pulling at all the stops. He's going with 6 attackers with 4 seconds left.
Remember, the Oilers are already shorthanded by 1, right now by 2. Linseman and Messier for a big face-off. Big tie-up. Linseman to Bork. Quick shot. That one went off Janney. Another shot at the siren by Linseman is sealed by Grant Fuhr.
You know something? Mark Messier won that face-off. If you win it quickly enough, sometimes the linesmen don't have a chance to get out of the way. Messier won the draw. It got caught, and Swede knocked skate. That's why the Bruins ended up with a chance right there.
14 shots for the Oilers in the first period, 11 shots for the Boston Bruins. And the fans here standing as their Bruins head off to the locker room. Let's go downstairs in that same general vicinity to Tom Mees.
Thank you very much, Mike Emmerich. Recapping the goal scorers for you. Mark Messier just 10 seconds into the game. Then Esa Tikkanen scored for the Edmonton Oilers. That made it 2-0. Then Greg Hoggood scored what really looks like a big goal now for the Boston Bruins. Remember, the Boston Bruins will have a power play for another 1:25. The first 1:25 of the second period, barring any other penalties against the Bruins. But after 1 from the Garden, it is the Edmonton Oilers 2 and the Boston Bruins 1. Will Hoggood's goal help the Bruins come out for the second period and take the lead? We'll find out in a few moments.